is the Lord and the company of him who established Zion and dirt. Cause your light to shine and justice sound, yeah. Rastafari. Justice.
Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, brothers and sisters. Good afternoon. You are listening to The Proven Truth. You are listening to The Proven Truth with your brother and host, Anthony Brown. Coming to you live from the studios of Radio Gumbo Creole here in the beautiful territory of New Orleans, Louisiana. It's another God-given day, family. It's another God-given day. And as usual, we give our God the thanks and the glory in allowing us to be here to share this day and time with you. We give our God the thanks and the glory. We here on this program, family, we end the show, we are black conscious, not black ignorant. We are black conscious, not black ignorant. Hence, we recognize those who came before us. We recognize those who paid the ultimate sacrifice so that we could be here to share this time and this moment. We recognize those who did not only talk because they had a platform to talk. We recognize those who not only talk because they had an audience, but they did so because it was righteous at the time and because the situation needed them to take action or to speak on the issue. We speak of Marcus Mosiah Garvey, Nanny from the Maroon, Paul Bogle, Fred Hamilton, Maurice Bishop, Malcolm X, Carter G. Wilson, Harriet Tubman, Thomas Sankara, Samuel McKell, Bookman Jyoti, Toussaint Lovinshore, and Jack Dessalines. These are a few of our ancestors, family, who we choose to honor on a day-to-day basis. Now, this is just our list. These are a few of the people who we choose to honor on a day-to-day. And if you have your own list, you can share your list with us and we will appreciate it. Again, you are tuned into The Proven Truth. You are tuned into The Proven Truth with your brother Anthony Brown. The number here for you to participate, if you so desire, is 504-303-8922. Again, that number is 504-303-8922. You can also listen to us on the web by going to www.radiogombocreole.net. That's RadioGonbocreol.net. You can also listen to us coming to or going from work by dialing the number 667-930-9041. Again, that number is 667-930-9041. You can plug your device into your auxiliary and listen to us. We live stream this show, family. We live stream this and every show on the Facebook. You can check us out on the Facebook by going to Anthony Brown for Assessor 2017. Again, Anthony Brown for Assessor 2017. While you're there, you can utilize this platform. It's your prerogative, or you choose to utilize this or any platform that we are a part of. You know, we don't sanction, we don't screen, we don't edit, we don't do nothing in the way of stopping any of our listening audience or viewing audience to participate in this show. You need to let your voices be heard, and here is a platform on which you can do that. Again, whatever it is that you choose to say or do, you can do it on this platform. Now, family, there's a couple issues on the forefront today. There's a couple issues that we're going to touch on briefly, and then there's a couple issues that we're going to spend some time on. First, let's dip deep into this folder that we have here first. Look, it's one thing to hear about certain activities and to hear about certain people doing certain activities. It's one thing to hear, and it's another thing to actually be a witness. You know, there is a terminology that the people who operate within the judicial system use, and that terminology is hearsay. And hearsay is a terminology or is a phrase that those players on that platform outline that hearsay cannot be utilized in the court system. So hearsay, and what hearsay is a third-party translation of a given topic or a given issue. For example, let's say you come in the court and you say to the judge, are you trying to present evidence? And you say, okay, well, that person or Mr. X tell me, oh, they're going to stop you. Oh, no, we don't want it. That's hearsay evidence. It's not factual evidence, it's hearsay. Now, again, for those of you critics out there, for those of you legal experts, we are not preaching law or we are not teaching law here. What we are doing is basically speaking from our own experience and common sense. Now, again, it's totally different when you get information from a third party. It's up to you whether or not you can believe that argument that you are hearing. It's a whole total different aspect when you actually are privy to the first-hand knowledge, or you're a part of the whole thing. It's a whole total different. No, you can say, yes, I'm testifying, or I was a witness to whatever circumstances there was. Now, I was a witness. I was a witness this past week to what they want us to believe what was a court proceeding. Or for this argument, we're going to say it was a court proceeding. I was a witness in this court proceeding. Now, there is this one gentleman here in New Orleans, Louisiana. He's a member of the Bar Association. His name is Ike Spears. Now, we have heard for some time now that Ike Spears is a political bully, which he utilized the pulpit, or he utilized the whole political arena, meaning the courts, to achieve whatever he need to achieve, or he utilized the courts against his opponents. we were informed, or we heard, that he is actually the legal advisor for the political machine here in New Orleans, Louisiana. We also heard that Ike Spears is or have a great control of the members, the judicial members of, are the judges in civil district court here in New Orleans. Again, these are arguments that we have heard over the years being here in New Orleans, Louisiana, about this one attorney, Ike Spears. We have heard that he have some type of control or command. Whenever he directs a judge to do something, they do it. We have heard that. We have heard that Ike Spears is the muscle for, or is the legal muscle for the Democratic Party, or for the political machine here in New Orleans, Louisiana. Okay, we have heard that. We have heard that. Okay, we have heard that. Now, amongst other things we have heard. But when you actually can testify to something, it's a whole total different game or platform. It's no more hearsay. This past week, I was sitting in the courtroom in Civil District Court here in New Orleans, Louisiana. And there was a hearing to remove a candidate from the ballot. There was a hearing to remove a grassroots candidate from the ballot. Now, there's many a reason why this is things like this is done. One of the reasons is the political structure, the political machine, the cronyism, the dirty playing behind these politicians. They don't want certain people to be involved with the whole political structure because they cannot control certain individuals. They cannot control certain individuals. So they don't want certain individuals to be out there playing a role in government. So they establish this so-called law, which don't apply to the people that they're applying it to. But again, when you understand the concept, family, that here in New Orleans, here in Louisiana, the corruption is so deep-rooted. It's so deep-rooted. And no one branch of government is excluded from the dirty cronyism that go on here. And when you understand the concept that the judicial branch, that branch that's supposed to exercise justice, is fully embedded in the cronyism and the corruption and the deceit, you will understand the whole premise and concept. Now, again, I was in this kangaroo court this past week, and I witness for myself first-hand knowledge. Now I'm testifying. This is no more hearsay. I'm witnessing for myself. So for me, it was more of a confirmation. Everything that I heard about this individual, this so-called attorney, or this attorney, Ike Spears, that practiced law here in the territory of New Orleans, Louisiana, everything I heard about this individual, I can now say for a fact that it's true. I can say for a fact that is true. He is operating and he is the attorney representing the political machine, the corrupted, dirty political structure here in New Orleans, Louisiana. He is, or he does have influence over these judges, these individuals who call themselves judges in Orleans Parish District Court. I saw it for myself firsthand. Again, this is no more hearsay on my part. I was in this court, and the court, or the judge, the person calling himself judge inside this court was one give me a second, family. Give me a second. Let's see. Yes, the person calling himself a judge inside this court was one Sidney H. Cates. Sidney H. Cates IV. He's supposed to be the judge in this courtroom. He's supposed to, in this case, the trier of facts. Now, we're not even going to debate or talk about the judge being the trier of facts, because this is one of the loopholes, or this is one of the cronyism. This is one of the way that they utilize to give you not justice but render injustice in these courtrooms. Injustice. Whenever you go inside these kangaroo courts and there is someone sitting on the bench calling themselves a judge, and they are the ones who are the trier of facts, I guarantee you, you ain't getting justice inside that courtroom. It's not. If the trier of facts is a so-called judge, and not 12 people, not 12 individuals inside the jury box, you ain't getting justice. You ain't. Not here in New Orleans, Louisiana, I tell you that. What you will get is injustice. What you will get is curry favor. More so if you are going off, more so if you are trying to get justice against an individual that forms a part, or an entity that forms a part or work with the governmental structure. Not here in New Orleans, Louisiana. You can maybe try somewhere else. I guarantee you that. So here is this so-called judge, Sidney H. Cates, the fourth Civil District Court for the Parish of Orleans, Division D, who's supposed to be a judge, and in this case, the trier of facts. is supposed to be a male, a man with a peer, I observe this attorney, Ike Spears, walking all over that goddamn judge, dictating the pace of the whole, what they tend to call a trial, dictating the pace of that whole trial, that whole proceeding. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, and I couldn't believe what I was hearing inside that kangaroo court. I couldn't believe it, my brothers and sisters. I really couldn't. I'm saying to myself, if I was ever a judge, no, if I was ever a judge, number one, nobody subordinate to me could ever in the wildest dream speak to me like how Ike Spears speak to this so-called judge, right? No attorney could speak to me like how Ike Spears speak to Sidney H. Cates, nor could he operate in my court. But again, when you recognize the fact that this attorney, this individual, this member of the Louisiana Bar Association, now you first and foremost have to remember that this person sitting on the bench calling himself the judge, and this attorney, they are first and foremost officers of the court. They are first and foremost members of that same private club, the Louisiana Bar Association. You have to remember that. Now, when I observe the way that Ike Spears conducted himself in that kangaroo court, the way how he addressed the judge and operates, I had to come to only one conclusion: that everything that I have heard previously about Ike Spears is no more hearsay. I have actually seen it for myself. I saw it for myself. I saw the way how Ike Spears operate in that courtroom. I saw the control. Let me tell you something. Ike Spears treated Judge Sidney Cates like a bitch inside that courtroom. Look, he's the judge, and you know how. Let me give you a different example, because it is important for you guys to hear what I'm saying. Now, maybe some of you is okay with that, but I'm not. Over 20 years ago, no, even further than that, when I was a kid growing up, if my parents was having any type of conversation with any other adult, I couldn't dare join that conversation. Or if I come inside the house and my dad was in the living room talking to any other adult, I would have to go around to the side door or the back door and enter the house from the side door or the back door. Why? Because there's adults speaking in the room. And if there's adults speaking in the room, I would have to keep my little black ass quiet and my mouth shut. And if there was something emergency, I would have to be calling out or saying, excuse me please, daddy, before I even enter that room, right? So him can know that it's something important or is an emergency. So I need to interrupt my daddy while he's having an adult conversation. Follow what I'm saying? It's dire emergency, and that's the only way. Some part of the house is on fire, or somebody is trying to cause me harm, or I feel like I'm gonna pass out. I'm gonna die. And I want to tell him, daddy, please, I'm about to die. That's the only way. Some type of respect, right? Or, you know, so here it is in the courtroom this past week. The subordinate, the attorney, Ike Spears, 2 times, basically, during active session, during questioning of a witness, walk out of this courtroom, turn his back on the court and the witness in the jury stand, and I need to call an associate or check on something in the other court. And then at that time, this kiss-ass person of a man, look, not even as a judge, as a man, but in his capacity as a judge, when Ike Spears turned his back towards him and said, well, look, I'm going to have to go into the next court for whatever reason, then he was like, okay, well, let's take a break. Let's take a break. So, look, again, if I was a judge in that capacity, I would say to him, look, Mr. Attorney or Mr. Spears, that's not how it works. If you need a break, you first ask me for a break. You ask. You don't just turn your back and start to walk out the courtroom telling me what you're going to do. You ask me, Your Honor, please, sir, I need 5 minutes or 10 minutes. May we have a break so I can... No! And there is several times, family, again, there are several other circumstances. Not only that, but when it comes to the issue of law, inside that courtroom, it was a disgrace, it was a sham, it was a mockery to see how this so-called judge, Ike Spears of this so-called judge around his goddamn fingers. Now, again, for me, it's no longer hearsay, or it's no longer a case, if or not what I've been hearing about this attorney is true or not. Is true or not. I am here to testify now to anybody that based on what I saw and what I observed this past week, Ike Spears is actually, Ike Spears does or do have some degree, if not a lot of degree, of control over these clowns that call themselves judges there in Civil District Court, Parish of Orleans. And I don't know How many other territory does this attorney Ike Spears have control over the judges? But when you understand the concept that we have been hearing for some time, and it's all and look, I've been checking certain tabloids and seeing that same argument too. So for those of you who think that Anthony Brown is full of crap, no, I tell you this. This same attorney, Ike Spears, recently filed a defamation lawsuit against another attorney. And within the lawsuit, or while he was in court, he threatened to punch the other attorney or to physically assault the other attorney. Let me tell you this. There's an old-time proverbs that the elders used to say, are still, well, maybe they still say it, that dopey know who to frighten. There's an old-time proverbs I used to hear when I was a kid. It goes something like this: dopey know who to frighten. And what that means is that you will take certain chances with certain individual because you think that that individual is weak, or that you can maneuver that individual, or that you have some type of edge over that individual, right? Now he's going to threaten somebody else, physical harm, Ike Spears, in court, and at the same time he's going to file a defamation lawsuit against that other attorney because that other attorney claims to call him a liar, or call him a liar in court. So that attorney called him a liar in court, and he's offended. So he's offended, so he threatened physical harm. Look, I don't know who that goddamn attorney is. Yeah? But I'm no judge, I tell you that. And I'm no punk neither, I tell you that. And Mr. Big Bad Ike Spears, to Mr. Big Bad Ike Spears, I would tell you this: dopey no who for frighten. Yeah? And I leave it at that. You goddamn clown. Okay, family, again, you're listening to The Proven Truth. You're listening to The Proven Truth with your brother Anthony Brown. The telephone number here, if you choose to participate in the show, is 504-303-8922, 504-303-8922. Okay. Now, here in New Orleans, Louisiana. Well, in New Orleans, we got what is known as, or let's back up. In the United States of America, we have a anarchy system of government, where we have the federal government, what they call the state government, then the local government. Now, this is a hierarchy structure of government. And this so-called government is all franchise government. We don't have a government no more of by the people, for the people, and of the people. We don't have that. We have a government that's acting de facto.
Great is the Lord and the company of him who established Zion in dirt. Cause your light to shine and justice sound, yeah.
De facto government, okay? And we see that every single day. We see that in their actions. We see that when it comes to the way how they look at us, we the people. Now, here in New Orleans, Louisiana, in that lower tier government, that lower tier, what they call city government, we have certain individuals. Now, the person who heads that lower tier government is one Lataya Cantrell, the present day administration, Lataya Cantrell. Now, Lataya Cantrell, she is the, we'll call the mayor / CEO of the municipal corporation, the city of New Orleans. She is, according to, let me go down, even though I know, I just want to make certain that it's still listed as such. She is a registered Democrat. What? She is a registered Democrat. Her party of affiliation is a Democrat. Now, let me say this, full disclosure, because again, we are what you call alternative media. We operate as an alternative media source. Okay? We not only give you our opinion, we bring you some element of actual news. And again, for those of you who don't know, the name of this show is The Proven Truth. We are not here, one, we are not operating here for gain, financial gain or glory. We speak mostly about political commentary. That's what we do, mostly political commentary. We talk about these cronies, these criminals, these so-called elected officials, these politicians. Okay? We ain't looking to be friends, or we ain't approaching these politicians with our hands or with our palms up. We don't want nothing from them. You know why? Because we are the bosses and we recognize that. Unlike a vast majority of the population who don't understand their concept or their portfolio, we do. We recognize and we know who we are and our power and our authority. We know that. We don't walk around with no elected official, with no politician's number in our speed dial. We don't do that. We don't do that. We don't want to be friends with no politician. No. More so these criminals here in New Orleans, Louisiana. We don't want to be the goddamn friend. We are the bosses. We put them in office and we take them out of office. We don't want to be the friends. It's because of us. We the people, we the conscious few, while these politicians have a goddamn roof over their head, food on the table and clothes on the backs. We are the bosses. We are the ones with the power. This so-called mayor, this so-called CEO of the municipal corporation, Lataya Cantrell, who heads the lower tier, who heads the municipal corporation, is a Democrat. Latoya Cantrell. On the New Orleans City Council sits 7 individuals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sits 7 individuals. Let's do this, man, because I think where we are right here is let's do this by parish. Let's go by parish. Let's select Orleans Parish. Orleans Parish supposed to be 64. No, Orleans Parish is 36. Okay, let's go to Orleans Parish. Okay. Orleans Parish. Now, family, again, we want to make certain that whatever information we are giving is factual. And we want to make sure that it's factual. Okay, you know something? Let's start at the top of the page. Here in the territory of Louisiana, the governor, that clown, that bribe taker, John Bell Edwards, white male Democrat. Okay? White male Democrat. He's a Democrat. Okay? Cedric Richmond, a Democrat, representing the 2nd Congressional District, one of the largest congressional districts in the territory of Louisiana. Cedric Richmond, a Democrat. Okay? Burnett Johnson, so-called black female, she is the so-called Chief Justice. But you know something, family? Check this out. You see, I'll show you that when you look on the Secretary of State website, you know how they have Burnett Johnson listed right now? Burnett Johnson, they got her listed as Associate Justice, 7th Supreme Court District. No, look how funny this is. Burnett Johnson, they have her listed as an Associate Justice on the Secretary of State website. Right? She is a Democrat. Okay? She is a Democrat. James F. McKay III, he is also a Democrat. Who is he? He is the Chief Justice, right? Or a judge. He's the Chief Justice of the 4th Circuit Appellate Court here in New Orleans. Edwin Lombard, Democrat, 4th Circuit as well. Tiffany Chase, Democrat, 4th Circuit as well. Paula Brown, Democrat. No, the 4th Circuit is the circuit that we presently here in New Orleans East preside over. And everybody, listen to these judges. James F. McKay is the chief, is a Democrat that sit on the 4th Circuit. Lombard is a Democrat, black male, sit on the 4th Circuit. Tiffany Chase, so-called black female, is a Democrat, sit on the 4th Circuit. Paula Brown, that clown, no relation to me. Paula Brown, no relation to me. Maybe the only relation that Paula Brown have to me is that way back in the day, We were actually owned because her name spelled just as mine's. B-R-O-W-N. So based on the spelling of the name, we were owned by the same European slave master. That's the only goddamn relationship she have to me. But in terms of integrity, in terms of, man, she's far from me as the East is from the West. Paula Brown, Democrat. Regina Woods, Democrat, Fourth Circuit. Terry Love, Fourth Circuit, Democrat. Dale Atkins, Democrat. Ladette Rose, Democrat, Fourth Circuit. Sandra Jenkins, Democrat, Fourth Circuit. So everybody that sit on the Fourth Circuit, Democrats, okay? Let's keep on going. Let's see if we find these. I'm trying to make a point here, family. Okay, trying to make a point. Okay, here we go. Errol criminal imposter No Good Williams. Errol imposter No Good Williams. Errol imposter No Good Williams, Democrat. Okay? The person who is calling himself the Orleans Parish Tax Assessor, Democrat. You see, when you don't follow your own rule, family, you know, phone's supposed to be off when you're on the ear. Democrat. Okay, here we go. Latoya Cantrell want to befriend everybody. Black female, so-called black female Democrat. Elena okay, members of the New Orleans City Council. We have Cindy Wynn, supposed to be representing the political subdivision New Orleans East, supposed to be. She only represent that small group of people out there, what you call them Filipinos. Look, she ain't no different than James Gray. The only difference with Cindy Wynn is that she tend to go around and do more photo op with people than James Gray. But let's stick to the point. The New Orleans City Council, you have Cindy Wynn, you have Jason Williams, you have Elena Moreno, you have Joe Rosso, you have that criminal Jay Banks, you have that other criminal Christian Pop. Look, again, we are not here to degrade any elected officials. And when we call somebody outside the name, we are not doing it because we have a dislike for any individual that sits in public office. No. We do it because they are deserving of that name or title that we give them. We do it because we have factual evidence of their criminal conduct while in public office. We do it because we are one of the electorate of this territory. We do it because we are the boss. We do it because we have a responsibility to our fellow New Orleans, to our fellow Louisianians, to call these people out. We have a responsibility to keep check on these so-called public servants. That's why we do it. We do it because we know that our fellow New Orleans, our fellow Louisians have to be out there working the grind from dusk till dawn, and they cannot do it. Jared Brissett, other clown. Now, let's go back to where we were. Okay, Errol Williams, Democrat. Latoya Cantrell, Democrat. Elena Moreno, Democrat. Jason Williams, Democrat. Joseph Joe Joriso III, Democrat. J.H. Banks, Democrat. Christine Cush-Lesson Palmer, Democrat. Jared C. Brissett, Democrat. Cindy Wynne, Democrat. Who we missing? Miss anybody? Did we miss anybody? That's all of them, right? So every single person that sits on the New Orleans City Council, every single person, every single individual that sits on the New Orleans City Council is a what? Is a Democrat. The person governing or sit as the mayor is a what? Democrat. The governor of the territory of Louisiana is a what? Democrat. The Chief Justice of the Louisiana Supreme Court is a what? Democrat. When you look in the House of Representatives and the Senate, what we got? Democrats. All of them Democrats. We have a lot of Democrats here in government. Lots of Democrats here in government. Now, when you look on the state of affairs, here in the territory of New Orleans, Louisiana, you have to ask yourself, well, if you don't, I do. I ask myself many a times. God damn. Why is Louisiana, the territory of Louisiana, is at the bottom of the barrel when it comes down to everything good and righteous? Why? Why Louisiana, the only thing that we rank number one in is the worst? Is the worst. The only thing that we rank number one in is the worst side of the coin, meaning when it comes to raising kids, we rank number one. When it comes to kid raising and kid growing up here in the church, we rank number one. We are the worst. When it comes to family income, we rank the worst. When it comes to crime and poverty, we rank the worst. When it comes to political cronyism, political corruption, politicians in federal prison we rank the worst. Follow what I'm saying? When it comes to housing, when it comes to people losing their private property, we rank the worst, number one. You have to ask yourself. And we have so much. We have the Democratic Party governing us. When it comes to taxation, man, we don't know where to turn with that shit. Because we have been taxing left, right, and center. We have been asked to pay tax left, right, and center. And we have Democrats in office. We have individuals who brag about being a part of the Democratic Party in office. We have to ask ourselves, is the Democratic Party so good? Then we have to go ahead and do some research. What the hell? We have to go ahead and start to do some research to see how good is the Democratic Party really is. We have to do that. And we did. We did. Now, when you look again throughout history, and when you look and the different, let me come back, because again, full disclosure, at one point, not very long ago, family, I must look, again, I love you all so much, I wouldn't dare lie to any of you. I love and respect you all so much, I won't lie to you. I love you too much and I respect you too much to lie to you. It wasn't much long ago that I could categorize myself as being a die-hearted Democrat. I would categorize myself as being a die-hearted Democrat, to the point where I was ignorant, to the point where I was biased, to the point where I wouldn't even identify logic, to the point where I wouldn't even balance the scale or entertain any other opinion. No, and because I was in that place, I understand the concept where a lot of you are right now. Believe me, there was no other fool out there like me, or there was no other die-hearted Democrat out there like me. You couldn't tell me nothing about the goddamn Democratic Party or about anybody, any Democratic politicians. I didn't want to hear it. There is nothing that you could tell me that I would have believed you. And sad to say, it's true. And again, I'm not gonna, full disclosure, family. Full disclosure. There's no, I wouldn't lie to you, and there's no reason for me to lie to you. And the reason why I have to put this out there is because I know that a lot of people out there may be listening to me right now saying, what the hell is Anthony talking about, or why is he talking against the Democratic Party, or is he? But as I have said many a times before on this program and many other platforms, what difference does it make when somebody put a gun to your head and ask you, or not ask, but demand that you give them all your money? What difference does it make if that person, Avon, is dressed in a uniform as NOPD or is dressed as a civilian? What the difference it make? And for those of you who reside here in New Orleans, Louisiana, post-Katrina, will understand exactly what I'm talking about. Will understand exactly that I'm not just talking on my ass or making up theories. What difference does it make if the person putting a gun to your head dressed like a member of the NOPD, or that person have on civilian clothes? That person is robbing your ass. That person is taking from you what is rightfully yours. It doesn't make a difference. No, I'm to the point where I'm not endorsing neither the Democratic Party or the Republican Party. Why? Because to me, the Republican Party is weak, or have a set of weak individuals. The Republican Party, for the most part, the individuals who make up that party, weak. They don't have the will to pursue certain things, or they tend to be more forgiving than like it or not, as dirty and as corrupted as the individuals that form the Democratic Party are, these goddamn clowns are aggressive with their criminal activity. I'm telling you, we have seen it. They are aggressive with it. And the Republican Party, even though they might be on the right side of history, meaning the past, they are not aggressive and bold with it. And for that issue, or for that reason, I'm not even endorsing them neither. Right? But again, we personally was mentally where a lot of people who still support the Democratic Party is until knowledge increase. It wasn't until knowledge actually increased on our part. It wasn't until we actually saw the truth before we decided to take a stand or to change our ideology or our thinking. When we recognize the truth about the Democratic Party and the individuals who call themselves elected officials, who make up the Democratic Party, then we started to realize that there was something definitely wrong with the Democratic Party itself. Now, back in 1870, the first black senator and the first black congressman was sworn in both were Republicans. Listen to what I'm saying. The Republican Party was created in 1854. In 1854. That was after the Democratic Party. Here's the Democratic Party now that proclaims to love black people so much and championing causes for black people so much that when they were established, when the Democratic Party was established, there was no black representative on the Democratic Party. None. No blacks could be a part of the Democratic Party. None. Then thereafter came the Republican Party. And what did the Republican Party do? In 1970, after they formed, they elected the first black senator to Congress. Now, bear this in mind. The Republican Party swore in the first black individual. Now, that black individual was a Republican. The Republican Party, black person, Congress. Every black representative in the House until 1935 was a Republican. Every black, we're talking about the United States Senate and United States House of Representatives. Every black individual, every black person up until 1935 who was in Washington, D.C., formed a part of the government, every single black individual. Up until 1935 was a part or a member of the Republican Party. So up until 1935, the Democrats, these group of people who want black people to believe that they love us from the inception or from the creation of the Democratic Party, didn't see us fit to represent ourselves, or didn't see us fit to serve in Congress. Didn't see us fit. And every black senator, and the House, it was up until 1935. Every black senator until 1979 was two for that matter. So 1979, look family, that ain't long. The 1970s, we're talking, look, the Senate, it wasn't until then that they brought in blacks on the Democratic side. The first female member of Congress was a what? Republican. The first Hispanic governor and senator was a what? Republican. In 1920, after 52 years of Democratic Party opposition, after 52 years of Democratic Party opposition, the 19th Amendment was ratified thanks to the Republican Congress, which pressured Democrats, President Woodrow Wilson, to drop the opposition to women's rights. What am I saying? All these feminist movements, man, it's crazy, family. Again, once knowledge increase, and once we stop listening to mainstream media, and once we stop listening to diehard Democrat, and we open our minds and our eyes, and we started to apply independent thinking, and we stopped to look at certain issue collectively, right? We saw the truth. It wasn't until we started to look on the issue for what it really was before we could actually step aside and say the Democratic Party isn't what we think it is. These individuals operating or who make up the governance, the governing body of the Democratic Party is not who we think they are. Neither from a historical point of view, nor present day. And that is the reason why, for those of you who just joined, I took the time to outline from John Bell Edwards, who is now the governor of the territory of Louisiana and the executive branch, Democrat, Bernadette Johnson, who is the so-called Chief Justice of the Louisiana Supreme Court, who heads the judicial branch, Democrat. Members of the legislative branch there in Baton Rouge, Democrats. Local, basically every single person who forms or who is a part of the local Democrat. So even to present day, because there's those of us or those among us who claim that, okay, yeah, we know that the Democratic Party wasn't, the argument is we know the Democratic Party wasn't for black people or for the majority back then, but now it is the Republican Party. And I have to shake my head. And a lot of people is talking about that because they watch CNN and they watch MSNBC and they watch certain mainstream media, and because they dislike the present president so much, they really, and again, I can identify with them. I really can. I recognize their ignorance, but I can recognize them because, again, family, full disclosure, I was exactly where they were a few years ago. I myself lack the knowledge, lack the information. I myself lack that information or that knowledge. Let's continue on to some more dates and time. The Civil Rights Act of 1960, which outlawed poll tax and other racist measures meant to keep blacks from voting, was filibustered. Listen to this, family, for all of you who love the goddamn Democratic Party so much and talk about civil rights. Let me start again. The Civil Rights Act of 1960, which outlawed poll taxing. You know what poll taxing is? They are still exercising some degree of poll taxing here right now. John Bell Edwards just disqualified 3 candidates from the ballot last week or this week from running for public office, from challenging his re-election to public office by utilizing poll tax. Well, it's not directly poll tax as how it was implemented, but it's a degree. It's a similar component. Listen to this crap. Which outlaw poll tax and other racist measure meant to keep blacks from voting was filibustered. What filibuster mean? By 18 Democrats for 125 hours. Not one Republican senator opposed the bill. Let me break that down for you. For you goddamn Democrats out there. This is history. You know what history is? You know what history means? And that's why we love history so much. And that's why we can talk so assertively right now. And that's why we show sympathy. And that is the reason why when we encounter certain individual who is tied to the hip with the Democratic Party and they are speaking from a point of ignorance, we don't entertain them. We keep our mouth shut. Because again, we recognize and we identify where they are coming from. They are coming from a place of ignorance. And again, we can identify because we were once there. So it's not like we all of a sudden just come up overnight and we are so smart or we are so knowledgeable. No, that's not the case. we wasn't as, look, again, we were, if not even more ignorant than a lot of people out there right now. Filibuster, it's a process by which in Congress, it's a political maneuver they utilize. To filibuster a bill is a political maneuver that members of Congress use to stop something from happening. To stop something from happening. 18 Democrats in 1960. How long ago was that? How long ago was 1960? Filibuster to outlaw the poll tax that would discriminate black people from voting. Not one single Republican opposed the bill. No, oh my God, this is significant, family. This is significant. For those among us, or for those among you who try to make the argument that, yea, it is the Republicans now who's oppressing us, I say BS, I say bullshit, I say your premise and your argument is wrong. Not one single Republican, again, we are not endorsing Republican Party or because they are weak in our eyes. They are weak in their will. They are weak. Not one single Republican opposed the bill. Its follow-up bill, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, is the one of the landmark piece of legislation in American history. That too survived a filibuster by Democrats thanks to overwhelming Republican support. Now, family, look. There is a book out. There's this group, this organization, Equal Justice Initiative, right? And these group have a book, and they got several books, but one of the books is titled Lynching in America, Confronting the Legacy of Racial Terror, 3rd edition. And when you open that book and you turn to page number 3, you will see on that page, which is the introduction page, some territories labeled in red. And let me read those territories. Let me call the name of those territories for you. You got Alabama, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, and Virginia. So amongst this territory is what? Louisiana. Let's read the paragraph preceding these territory, what it says. It says, over the past 6 years, EGI staff have spent thousands of hours researching and documenting terror lynching in the 12 most active lynching states in America. So Louisiana was one of the most active lynching state in America. Now, why did I bring that out? Here it is that the Civil Rights Act of 1964 that was signed into law, and people, you have prominent democratic individuals right now, and you have prominent civil rights activists who speaks about the Civil Rights Act of 1964. There is one key component of that they fail to speak about, is that Democrats was against that bill. Democrats filibuster that bill. Democrats opposed that bill. My sister Infinity, much love. Yes, they hang us in huge numbers. Yes, they did. Infinity, they did. And this book right here, my sister, I'm telling you, if you can get a copy of this book and read this book, there is so much information in this book. If you want, I'll send you how you can get a copy of this book. But to read this book, Infinity, to read this book right here, and what they did, they lay it out in such a way that it's unbelievable. And that's one of the reasons why I was so upset and I speak out so much against this so-called black female that we have here by the name of Lataya Cantrell, who call herself the mayor. When she went out and she apologized to the Italian community because 14 Italians got lynched. Now, again, we are not endorsing that, but where was the apology, Infinity? Where was the apology to us, to black people, from Lataya Cantrell or any other public official, black public official, about the lynching that black people went through or received? Here is documented facts about that terror lynching. Documented facts about the terror lynching that we as black people face. And we have a so-called black leader, black female, a black mayor, who didn't use her pulpit or didn't use her platform to say to black people, look, we went through hell. You know why, Infinity? Because she don't care about black people. She have no love for black people. She don't respect black people. She don't consider herself black. She don't know the history, nor do she care to know the history or the suffering of black people. She will identify or rally with black people, just like a lot of these goddamn clowns, when she want black people to put her into public office. But here it is. We have history. We have history of how black people. Now, for all of you feminists, you might be thinking all that is in the past. What have the Republicans done for women, blacks lately? The answer you would hear from, look, let me tell you something. When we look on the history books, and when we recognize factual occurrence that happened under the Democratic Party and by individuals that look, they will tell you that the Republican Party is a party who support the KKK, but they won't tell you that it is the Democratic Party who formed the KKK. And when you go out there and you establish this knowledge, and when you recognize how they misinform the general public, you have to then sit back to yourself and say, what other information have they twisted or deceived us about? You must have to do that. Again, Infinity, my sister, we can speak about this from a national standpoint. We can do that. We can speak about this from a national standpoint. We can speak about this from a standpoint of Barack Hussein Obama, the first so-called black president of these United States of America, and how disappointed black people all over the globe was about Obama. I'm telling you, we spent time in Africa, and black people in Africa were so goddamn disappointed with Obama. Number one, when they came there, they tell him first thing, they told him, they said, look, if you're gonna come to Africa, you need to keep your philosophy and your ideology in America. Don't bring your ideology and your concept, certain issues that you have championed in America, you don't bring that crap here to Africa. And even away from that one part issue, which they was talking about the issue of gay, they was talking about the issue of homosexuality. They didn't want that in Africa. And there was many other issues that they was talking about. But generally, black people were so disappointed, and still is today. I have called Barack Hussein Obama the worst president that this country have ever seen. The worst president that this country have ever seen was Barack Hussein Obama. The worst. Why? Barack Hussein Obama, to black people in public office, was wolf in sheep clothing. Wolf in sheep clothing. Wolf in sheep clothing, family. Barack Hussein Obama. Now, look, I'm looking at the clock and, you know, we have a short time leave on the show. And there was something I didn't get a chance to get to. We're going to touch on it real quick. Again, here it is. We have this guy in office, Errol criminal imposter No Good Williams, who's supposed to be the tax assessor. What is his party affiliation? Democrat. What is his so-called race affiliation? Black. You can go and you can look under any underpart here in the territory of New Orleans. The amount of homeless people we have here under democratic govern. Under democratic governing. Under democratic govern. So we have Democrats who are supposed to be so concerned about the plight of black people, who are supposed to be concerned about the well-being of low and impoverished people. And underneath democratic govern, we have so much people out there suffering. Then you must ask the question yourself, why? Why? Why so much people out there suffering on the Democratic Party? We have this clown here named Harold G. Williams, again a Democrat. Under the Democratic Party, man, look, under the Democratic Party, people here in New Orleans losing their houses like crazy. Under the Democratic Party, we here in New Orleans, actually, every single year now, we are facing on the ballot another proposition that have to do with property tax hike. Under Democrats, last year we had one, the year before we have one, this year again, under a Democratic mayor, under a Democratic tax assessor, under Democratic city council, under a large Democratic legislative body, under a Democratic governor. Once again, the people of this territory have to go to the ballot, or will be going to the ballot this November 6th to vote on what? Another tax increase. Now, for those of you who ain't familiar, for those of you who don't know, LaToya Cantrell pushed for and gotten on the ballot this coming November another constitutional amendment that, if passed, will increase or will add to the financial burden on the backs of the people of New Orleans, another financial burden. Again, LaToya Cantrell pushed for, and the members of the New Orleans City Council kissed her ring, caved in, and give her the go-ahead to place on the November 6th ballot another constitutional amendment that, if passed, will add to the financial burden of the people of Louisiana. And what is happening? They are doing it under the secret of night. They are not promulgating it. They are not advertising it. They are not, you will not see this information on the local media blown up. This is one issue that's supposed to be, every night is supposed to be seen, or every other night is supposed to be seen on mainstream media. You're not seeing it. This is one issue that these local politicians are supposed to be talking about. They are not. They are not speaking about this, but you know who's talking about it? Anthony Brown and the Proven Truth. We are talking about this. We're reminding the people of New Orleans, we're reminding the people of Louisiana that this amendment will be on the ballot. This amendment will be on the ballot come November 6th this year for the people to be voting on. The proven truth.
Hi, Anthony. This is Mike Howells.
How you doing, my brother?
Hi, I'm here. I've been running around doing a lot of stuff, and thanks for the work, especially on the tax bill. There is going to be a meeting on September 5th by the NOLA Renters Assembly where they're supposed to talk about that. I forget exactly where it's at. I think it's at the Corpus Christi. But I'll get more information to you about that. And as everyone knows, today's the 14th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina. And
right.
As everybody knows, they're just trying to bury it, as always. The mayor had this little ceremony in the morning where practically nobody attended. And just the one issue I'm thinking, and these taxes that are so regressive have everything to do with this. Yeah, there's never been a recovery in New Orleans. There's been a recovery for the wealthiest 10%, but for the bottom of the 80%, conditions are much worse today than they were before Katrina, in terms of the cost of housing, in terms of, it's like, for instance, 24% of the people were severely cost burdened in 2005 when the storm hit. Now it's 24%. Now it's 38% of the renters are severely cost burdened. They pay more than 50% of their rent, money on rent. And then we have a situation where with our hospital beds, we had 2,640 public hospital beds. With charity, that was close. Now we've got 446 public hospital beds.
Right.
The drop of and then we have a so-called public school system that's really just a gravy train to hand out contracts to the friends of politicians so they can manage these schools. And, so many people lost their jobs. But anyways, I did want to bring that up too.
Right.
That, this is the 14th anniversary, but we haven't had a recovery yet for the bottom 80%. And that's a starting point for getting where we need to go.
Right.
And like fighting this reactionary tax that they're going to put, or the proposal on the election ballot in November.
Right.
Yeah, is part of that, because if that law is passed, it will raise the cost of property taxes, and it will push out those homeowners who are just barely hanging on by a thread, or those renters who will have to absorb the increase in the cost of the tax burden, and it'll push them out. And so the housing situation, affordability situation will be even worse than it is today, and today it's appalling. So I certainly think we should all vote against that. And those were some of the key points. But, 14 years ago we had a big change, and the forces agreed, won out, and now they want to take even more. And this tax proposal to raise the millage is part of it.
Mike, I don't know if you know, right, but Cinda Wynn and Latoya Cantrell did a big hoopla out there in New Orleans East, right? Spending claim that a budget of $27 million they're going to spend in doing infrastructure work out there in New Orleans East. The first was 14 million, and then the rest going to be coming after. Now, what they are doing out there is basically patchwork. And they are trying to make it seem like, oh look, we are so concerned about the New Orleans East and we are doing things. Now, what they did not tell the people of New Orleans East was that there is billions of dollars that the federal government is now requesting back from them, right? Because that money came here post Katrina to do work, and they have that money hidden in some goddamn account or somewhere, right? But now that the federal government is like, we need that money back, now they are trying to say, okay, here it is, we have to spend that money before a certain deadline, right? So they are lying to the people in New Orleans East. They are misleading them about the fact that they want the people in New Orleans East to believe that, okay, because of this infrastructure issue that we have going on, we are actually taking money from somewhere to do this work, not telling the people of New Orleans that this was money that the federal government sent to us post Katrina to be spent doing that work. You see I'm talking about?
Right.
And it's Mike, I'm telling you, and it goes right back to it goes right back to what you just said a while ago. Right? This we didn't have a recovery. There was no recovery here. It's a sham, it's a shame, my brother.
And billions of dollars were supposed to be spent on that recovery, and they weren't spent on the vast majority.
There is, look,
it's a crime.
There is, yes, it is a crime. There is money, Mike, there is money that the people of New Orleans don't know, have a clue where that money is right now. There is missing money. There is missing money that nobody is accounting for or can tell us where that money is. You know, and that's what we need to get to the bottom of. Look, the people of New Orleans don't need to be taxed no more. This amendment that's on the ballot for November need not be on the ballot. You know why? Because there is money out there in the kitty that the people of New Orleans don't have a clue about. And if the federal government didn't request that the municipal corporation need to send back that money, this big hoopla that sing the wind with our so-called representative self and Lataya Cantrell break ground out in the east wouldn't happen. You see what I'm talking about? But yeah, look, we have a lot of, but Mike, again, that meeting that you talk about, we need some more information about that meeting and when it's going to be conducted. Because
right now I'm going, but I know it's going to be 6 p.m., but I will give you more information soon.
Okay.
And right now I'm going to the Andrew Sanchez Community Center because they're having the Lower Ninth Ward Katrina Vigil.
Okay.
And it's being organized by the people, not by these gangster crooks.
Right.
So, and it's designed to not just remember what's happened, but also to point out what still needs to be done. And that's on 1616 Caffin. Mm-hmm. And that will be from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. tonight. Okay?
Okay, my brother. I'll see in a little while. All right. Thanks for calling in, Mike. Appreciate it, man. Bye.
Okay.
Oh, family, look, again, that's some good information right there. You know, and that's where it's at. The community needs to go out, because once the community go out and the community act, we cannot wait for these criminals, these cronies, to do anything for us. Even though we put them into public office to do certain things, you know, we have to go out there and actually take some action and get stuff done ourselves. Again, you are listening to The Proven Truth. We are listening to The Proven Truth with your brother, Anthony Brown. For all of you who, tune in and participate in the show, we appreciate it. For all of you tune in and participate in the show, we appreciate it. Today is actually the commemoration of the 14-year post-Katrina. 14 years now since Katrina, and the people of New Orleans are known much more better than there was, a day, a week, a month after Katrina. It's sad to say that the powers that be, these politicians, receive billions of dollars to assist the people of Louisiana who was adversely affected by Hurricane Katrina. And they are now using some of that money to play politics. They are now using some of that money because the federal government requests that money come back. They are now using some of that money. We're talking about individuals like Cindy Wynn, the so-called representative of District E, We're talking about individuals like Latoya, Lackadaisical, want to befriend everybody Cantrell. Now, again, family, the clock says it's that time. Look, we appreciate you guys tuning in. This is a brother, Anthony Brown, saying peace, much love.